Hey followers, this is your boy, Movie Maker Doug 55. Here we are on Relentless and Unstoppable. We have my coach and mentor, actor Andy McKee, and we also have our guest, Gary Wright. Hey Gary, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks, Doug. How are you?
Doing
Yeah,
good.
g'day,
How are
Gary.
you?
How you doing, bro?
Good, good, good.
I think I like your background better than mine. I think you're in a really nice place.
Mate, I'm very blessed at the moment to have a rainforest pole home on a hill at the beach.
Wow. You up in
Perfect.
Cairns, Gary? Is it
Yeah,
Cairns?
Cairns. Well, it's Trinity Beach, so northern beaches, north of Cairns,
Ah,
correct. Yeah.
wow. That's beautiful, man. Beautiful. Okay, Douglas. Welcome to you. How you going, Doug? How's it in Arizona? It's good in LA. I wish we were sort of in the rainforest though, somehow. I'd rather be there.
Yeah,
Um,
we've had rain, and rain here.
well, it's not a forest, it's a desert, so I know where I'd rather be with Gary. All right,
Yeah.
Doug, take us away, mate.
Alrighty, so Gary, we start these interviews with a question, which is, what are you doing these days?
What am I doing these days? So basically, I've gone from being a full-time professional athlete as a IFBB professional bodybuilder to pretty much a full-time coach now, and I'm coaching and personal training and running programs. But what's kind of my personal training business has exploded, and I'm very very busy with probably about 90% of my clientele being female, and that's just because like I seem to I provide a very good professional service with them where they feel comfortable and they can train really really hard, and they get incredible results, changing the body. And I get quite emotionally kind of invested with all my clients, and I love what I do as well. So it's kind of, I've got a bit of a troop, like sort of big heap of Gary's Angels, kind of speak.
That's funny.
It keeps me quite busy. Yeah.
Hmm.
That's really cool. I can tell that you're a bodybuilder because you don't have wrinkles in your head, you have veins.
Yeah, well, apparently bodybuilders don't have any hair either, but I've got a fair bit of hair, so I'm doing pretty good, I think.
That's funny.
So,
And look, you, I know a lot of people who are watching this obviously can't see you, but when they see photos of you, which Doug will put up, like you're a pretty massive guy. Like there's a lot of
yeah,
work put into that body.
I think I'm going on close to 25 years of training though, so it's been
Wow.
quite a long time, and I'm nowhere near at the sort of condition that I used to be because I'm actually doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu 3 or 4 times a week these days,
Oh,
and I'm
wow.
trying to chase the belts in that sport, and not to be competitive, more so just for a bit of a hobby. But I do find that the two different sports don't really go so well together sometimes because the training is
Mm,
quite opposite, and sometimes being a really big guy can kind of go against you a little bit. Um,
yeah.
but
And
yeah,
have you lost much size since you started doing the jiu-jitsu?
yeah, I have, and certain like just different body parts seem to hold size better than others, and body parts that get worked a lot, say shoulders, and arms, probably they kind of feel it the most.
Mm.
But yeah, I found that
And
it's
have you found that the size you were and the strength, has that helped in jiu-jitsu, or have you had to retrain your brain to go, it's not all muscle now, I've got to learn technique?
yeah, and I'm heading into it with a real kind of attitude of wanting to learn the techniques and not use my muscle, on people and stuff like that. And I think that anyone who says that muscle doesn't help with jujitsu obviously hasn't trained with a very high level jiu-jitsu guy with muscle. But I think it's probably better if you sort of become very proficient at jiu-jitsu first and then get stronger and bigger rather than
Yeah,
starting the other way around. Because obviously
yeah.
flexibility is a important part of it as well, and mobility is an important part of it. But it's definitely very very challenging. The hardest thing for me has just been sort of getting injured regularly because my body's so big and tight in certain areas. It's
Oh,
easy
right.
for me to get injured. Yeah, yeah. So challenging.
Yeah, I found that when I started judo, I ended up getting to, black belt. I was doing judo for probably 15 years. And when I went in, I was really big and I was pushing, not like you, but I was pushing pretty heavy weights. And I thought, oh, that'll get me through. I soon found out that was wrong. I blew out within the first 30 seconds of doing groundwork, and I went, okay, I've got a bit to learn here.
Yeah, it's very humbling. And it's very humbling to have your ass kicked by a guy, half your size as well,
Oh, yes, it sure is. You got any questions for, regarding, what else Gary's been up to?
So yeah, Gary, I must ask, now that you brought that up, what's the difference between jujitsu and other types of martial arts?
Well, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is the ground game that you see in the UFC. Most of the UFC fighters all use Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as their main ground and grappling game. So in comparison to, say, karate or kickboxing, where it's sort of more so stand-up, Jiu-Jitsu is the main grappling sort of form of martial arts that all the UFC fighters use. And there's different types of jiu-jitsu. There's sports jiu-jitsu and there's, self-defense jiu-jitsu and so forth. But I fell in love with jiu-jitsu because I think it's really, really great for females. I think it's great for smaller opponents to beat, bigger opponents. And I really look forward to seeing my own sort of children go through and to learn and to hopefully grow and become confident from, using martial arts as a form of self-defense. So, I think it's very, very challenging because it's one of those martial arts where there is no end to it. You can never become, it just goes on and on and on and on and on. With Kit, I actually bought some of Kit's DVDs and I got a photo with him. I ran into Kit in Melbourne and the first thing I said to him was, "Holy shit, Kit, you're nowhere near as tall as I thought you were."
That's funny.
I don't think he liked that too much, but he, really, Kit's fantastic and very inspirational for any Australian grappler, for a guy to be, and also
amazing guy, amazing,
so multi-talented. I love all of his artistic work and stuff as well. He's so entertaining on Instagram and everything that he does. He's got a very,
he's taken up boxing now, and I tell you what, I watched some of his videos the other day, and he looks pretty good. I
think he's a natural athlete. You know what I mean? So anything he sets on to, he excels at. So
well, he said on his interview with us that as a young kid, a teenager, 13, 14, he said, "I'm going to be a world champion." And his dad went, "Oh, get a job first." "No, I'm going to be a world champion." And he has, mate. He's made everything work. He's got passive income coming in so he can be free to do what he wants. And he created all that himself with his training and his channel. So really smart businessman and someone who's, like yourself, what it takes to have dedication to get where you want to go. So that's why I love talking to athletes, because they just get it. They really do get it,
Yeah. I think if you just learn how to channel that same energy into different areas, you can kind of become multi-talented. But also knowing when you're doing kind of trying to do too much is also as important as well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Sorry, Doug, what were you going to say, mate?
Yeah, what I was going to say is I've done some martial arts with Jerry Trimble, an international kickboxing Hall of Famer. And I've said ever since I started, martial arts is really good for the system. It's good for the mind. It helps you with coordination and timing. It's been very good to me.
Yeah, 100%. And for me, coming from a bodybuilding background, what it does to my physique is it makes me ripped and hard and fit, rather than kind of being a big kind of puffy bodybuilder. You get tight and kind of, that functional strength that's important for everyday life. So I think it's really important, I think it's really good.
That's so very true. Now that the body you have is now those muscles are being very functional in other ways rather than just pushing the weights. Now they're able to do something which is, use them in a fighting art, use them against someone else's power and strength and all this. So you become more flexible and still can be quite big at the same time.
Yeah, I just think it's good for aging, Andy. I think it's good for, as you get older, to be functionally fit, I used to do a bit of Muay Thai back when I was 17, 18 as well. So that was kind of my first introductory, back when I was a young guy. And then I did years and years of working the doors like Andy did. I think you worked as a doorman, didn't you, Andy? Is he still there? Is he gone?
Oh, sorry, mate. I lost a bit of connection. I just heard the last bit of that. What was the last bit you said?
I was saying you worked as a doorman for a while, didn't you, Andy? You worked as a
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I always thought I was better than what I was, but I wasn't.